Thank you very much, everyone. I'm listening to Bob there and I'm thinking, oh my God, is he talking about me? And the truth is, I'm so excited to be your MC today for a number of reasons. When Bob said there that I'm in the business 4 years, I actually even find that hard even saying it, thinking to myself, is it really 4 years? And it is, because the time just flies by when you're working with Forever. I'm excited also because I finished my Clean 9 yesterday. Woohoo! Anyone else finished their Clean 9? Anyone else finished it? Well, I tell you what, there's nothing like the motivation of Lisa calling you in November to ask you to be MC. And all you're thinking in your head is, can I possibly fit in a Clean 9 before that date? And in your head, you're counting the days to go, okay, will I have it done or not? So I'm delighted to have it done and feeling lots and lots of energy today. I'm also excited because it's January Success Day, and that for me is huge. Not only because it's my anniversary, but also, when I look outside this room, and over the last couple of weeks, I've been watching people going back to work, and they're all pretty glum, aren't they? They hate their jobs. They're wondering what's going to change in 2017, and if what they're going to do today is going to bring anything about in the future for them. And then I come into a room like this, and even before this, and I've got Forever Boot business owners bouncing off the walls. And they're telling me about the goals they've set this year, and they can't wait to get their teeth back into it again and get started for the year. And the truth is that they're all excited because they can put plans in place. And they're excited because they found a vehicle to achieve those goals. And that vehicle is this amazing company, Forever Living Products. And you're here today, which is a great decision too. So for the people here today, for the first time, I'm delighted you could join us. You're ever so welcome. What can you expect from the day? Well, you're going to see lots and lots of recognitions. You probably won't understand what a lot of them are about, but please don't worry whatsoever. You're going to be hearing from people who've achieved those recognitions, how they came to be involved in Forever, why they're working their business, and perhaps how they've achieved those recognitions. You're also going to be receiving amazing training today. I'm so excited about the training we're getting today. So if you're looking at our company for the first time, you're going to receive all the information that you need about our company and what it has to offer. If you're here and wanting to build a business, or perhaps you have a business and want to build a bigger business, well, you're in the right place because you're surrounded by successful people. You're also experiencing firsthand the foundations and building blocks that we have in helping and supporting and training people to build a business with us. And that's available to each and every one of you. My job today is to facilitate the day, to make sure that we run on time. So please, please help me to stay on time because we've got a lot of recognitions to cover today. It's also to make sure that we have some fun. Who's up for some fun today? Get back into it for the new year. It's also to make sure that every single one of you who crosses this stage today shines bright like a diamond when you're receiving your incentives and recognitions. I was also asked to speak a little bit about myself. So, as I said before, I've been with Forever for 4 years. My background was in banking. I worked in banking since I left university. I started as a graduate trainee with one of the big investment banks in London. And that was a little bit scary at the time, leaving from a small village to move to London. But I spent my life working in different investment banks, mainly in London, but I was seconded to a few different cities around the world throughout my career: Dubai, Brussels, New York, Boston. So it was a great life, but quite challenging at times. I always worked really, really hard. I've always been really ambitious. I come from a very ambitious family, and I come from a family business as well. And I worked hard because I saw what the investment banks could offer me in terms of opportunity, but also in terms of remuneration, and that was a huge driver for me. I worked really hard towards the end of my career, one, because Yes, I was still ambitious. I still had goals that I wanted to achieve. But we also went through a very nasty few years called the financial crisis. And like any business, when you're working a business, you're going to go through tough times. And during those tough times, I had to work harder on my goals. But I also had to work more with my client base to make sure that they were sticking with us along the journey. But to everyone else, I had a hugely successful career. During the financial crisis, I was earning more than I'd ever earned. I was being recognized and promoted, and everyone just saw the super success. And inside, I was, what I would say, imploding. I don't know if that's a word I've made up myself, but really it means exploding internally in my head, because I was living an existence and not a life. And 2 years after the financial crisis, I was made redundant. And it was a huge blow to me because of the commitment that I had given the firm, but also because of the business that I had built with them. It was hugely important to me, and I really spent a lot of time building relationships with clients. We managed €4.5 billion in Ireland, and I was really proud of the business that I had built. And I had to walk away from that desk that day with nothing. And if anyone's been made redundant before, you'll know how that feels to walk away from a business that you've built. It was very clear when I started interviewing again that I'd lost my conviction and belief in what I was doing, but also my belief in myself. I'd lost my confidence. So I took a little bit of time out, and I began working a little bit in our family business, but I was still looking for something. And they say that forever finds you when you need it most. And that's certainly the case, because I was asked along to a business presentation. I didn't know what to expect. I honestly did not know what to expect when I walked through that door. But I was willing to learn and listen. And I always say to people that I got excited that evening. And I always say it was because of the business model. And that is true. It was because of that. But if I'm really, really true to myself, I wasn't going to join any old company. I wasn't going to just do something for the sake of doing something. There were values that I wanted to live my life by that this company had ingrained into the core. To work with integrity, empathy, and fun as our guides ticked every box that I would have wanted in my life at that time. To work to build my own dreams and not someone else's was hugely important. I didn't join that first night. In fact, it took 2 business presentations. I'm quite analytical. I like to scratch the surface a bit. But one of the main reasons I went back the second night was because I wanted to make sure that it stirred the same feelings inside of me that it did that first night. And it did. One of the other reasons why I didn't join that first night was because I was scared. I was afraid. And that's the common denominator between all of us within this room. We are all scared at some point in our forever business. Maybe it's the first night, maybe it's the first step, but maybe it's a little bit further along the line for other people. I was scared of the dizzy heights of success again because I could see what this company had to offer. But I was also scared that I would never fly again. And by God, I didn't want to be a hen all my life. And I wanted to soar like an eagle. So I did join. And what has forever done for us? Well, I'm not going to talk about money, incentives, or recognitions today, because you're going to hear from lots of people today who've achieved amazing things with this company. I'm going to talk about things that money can't buy or that I can't put a price on. And one of those first things is the journey. And some of you might think, what's that about? But I had gone through a redundancy, which had knocked my confidence. I had also gone through a divorce, which had cut me to the core and actually ruined me inside. I was so upset and in pain. The journey was actually to find myself again. I didn't know who I was anymore. And I'm so proud of the person that I've become along this journey. It's been an experience, and I'm more me now than I've ever been before. And I know who I am now, which is really, really important to me. The second is time. Time that I've been able to have with my partner. Most of you know Jamie, he's a bit of a character, but he's got cystic fibrosis, and 16 years ago next week he had a heart and lung transplant. It's his anniversary. And over the last few years, in fact the last 4 years, his health has deteriorated massively. And some days are really good, some days are not so good, and some days I wonder how long we have. And when I started this business, one of my big goals was that I would take Jamie out of full-time employment in the future, and it was a goal that I'd set really far out. And that happened a lot sooner than I had anticipated, not because I'd built a great business, but because his health had deteriorated so much. So the one piece of advice that I would give you today is to treat your business with urgency. Sometimes we plan goals really, really far out, but we need to work them and build some urgency into the plan. So as I'm talking about goals now, I wanted to read you something to leave you with today and for 2017 before we kickstart our day. And this is a piece that I have on my desk. And I just moved house this week, so the desk is a moving target at the moment. It's on the kitchen, it's on the wardrobe, it's everywhere. But I'm surprised I could even find it actually to bring here today. But these are promises and commitments that I make to myself. And I'll tell you the reason why after I read the piece. I promise myself to be so strong that nothing can disturb my peace of mind. To talk health, happiness, and prosperity to every person I meet. To make all my friends feel that there is something worthwhile in them. To look at the sunny side of everything and make my optimism come true. To think only of the best, to work only for the best, and to expect only the best. To be just as enthusiastic about the success of others as I am about my own. To forget the mistakes of the past and press on to the greater achievements of the future. To wear a cheerful expression at all times and give a smile to every living creature I meet. To give so much to improving myself that I have no time to criticize others. To be too large for worry, too noble for anger, too strong for fear, and too happy to permit the presence of trouble. To think well of myself and to proclaim this fact to the world, not in loud words, but in great deeds. To live in the faith that the whole world is on my side, so long as I am true to the best that is in me. And the reason that I make these commitments and promises to myself is because if I work my business with these commitments in mind, I know that I am being true to myself. I also know that I am building a business that I am proud of. And that is my wish for each and every one of you this year. So let's get started with this day.